What's going on, YouTube? 7:30 in the morning. 7:15, I should say. Yesterday, went to do a mulch job at the end of the day, and a customer says he contacted me 2-3 weeks ago, and I told him it was 2 to 3 week, or actually I think I told him it was a 2-week wait, and I asked him, he's just a mulch customer. I've only done his mulch last year once, and I couldn't remember if I do a cherry brown mix, and I do a brown, and then they have black, and then they have regular cherry. And I knew I did the higher end mulch for him, but I couldn't remember what color. So I asked him, did we do the cherry brown last year? And he said yes. Well, I showed up yesterday with 3 yards of cherry brown, and he did brown. So yeah, I was a little bit upset, but on the other hand, I probably should have went by there and double checked myself. So it is what it is. Called my mulch supplier. They were like, hey man, it happens, bring it back by tomorrow morning and we'll get it taken off the truck and get you loaded up with what you need. And that's why having a good relationship with your landscape supplies and your dealers and all that stuff is very, very important when it comes to this business. And having a good relationship with customers, because the first thing my customer said after I told him what I was going to have to do was, go ahead and bill me for your time and your gas, man, whatever you think's right. I apologize for that. And so, having good customers, have a good relationship with your customers, and have a good relationship with your suppliers makes your life a little bit easier, especially when your life is being difficult. But just wanted to start this vlog off today and, kind of explain what was going on for the day right now. After I get done with this, I got some mowing to do. Actually, I got quite a bit of mowing to do because I planned on just mowing this morning, and now I'm going to be set behind at least a couple hours. So we're going to get this done, and we'll see how the rest of the day goes. On the downside though, man, sun's bright. That does kind of hurt your reputation at the mulch supplier. You get to be the joke of the day when you show up with mulch to unload at the place where you load. But we'll get this job taken care of, get on with our day, swing back by there and have to slip that man a 20 or something. I find that's the best way to solve all the problems at the loading yard, just some dollar bills here and there. What do you think I should charge this customer? I'm thinking, he already disclosed, hey, you can go ahead and charge me for your time and your gas, and I was already going to, but I'm thinking, let's see, it's 7:57. I started the day at 7:15ish. So by the time I get back out to his property, it's going to be about 8:15. So I'm charging for an hour's labor to go pick up, drop off this mulch. And I'm going to tack that onto the estimate that I originally gave. And I think that's fair. I went off of his work, like what he said he needed, and then I got there and that's not what he needed. And his wife wasn't happy with the color, so I couldn't just drop that mulch off there. So I just kind of wondered, you think that's the right thing to do, or should I just eat it? I don't think I'm going to eat it, because it wasn't my fault. I got text confirmation of what color mulch to get, but that's just kind of my take on it. And then when it comes to mulch, I charge by the yard, but I just estimate how many yards the job's going to need, and then send them an overall estimate. Like this one was estimated to be at 3 yards, and then I have a price per yard delivered and installed. And how I do that is I calculate in my cost of mulch plus tax, and then I add in $10 for delivery for each yard that I pick up to kind of accommodate for the wear and tear on my truck. And then I add in my man-hour labor per yard, and that's pretty much how that works out, is my per hour. I basically give myself an hour's worth of labor to install each yard. And how that works out is, like, sometimes I do really well because sometimes I can get it off the truck really fast and get it done, and then other times it does take about an hour to get each yard off when I've got obstacles and stuff like that. So I've never really taken more than an hour per yard to do a job, and then usually I can get it done faster than that. So that's pretty much how I do my mulch. Okay, so I've got to do this bed, that tree ring, the tree ring and beyond that, this bed up here, and this one up here. I use this transfer shovel. It's called a long handled transfer scoop, I think. Pretty unique. It's the first one I've ever seen, so I bought 2 of them. I use a regular old bedding fork and just a cheap $40 Ace wheelbarrow. The sides of my truck are removable, so it makes it pretty easy for this. And a couple other things I do is I'll take my string trimmer and I'll edge everything out before I start to do this, and then I'll blow out all the edges and stuff to put new in there. main thing that I focus on is getting a nice thick edge. It's probably hard to see on the camera, but I try to get a little dimension to it. And you've probably seen how I lay out a thick layer and then I flatten it out with the pitchfork, and that's the best way to do it that I've found. Also, when I'm filling in areas, I like to throw the mulch out in like a fan, and it gets like a 2 to 3 inch coating. And then after I get it filled in, I smooth it out with the top of the... But it really changes the way that looks. So I had to do this small little ring right here, this bed right here. I made sure, I got all the way around all these shrubs. Even just a small little line right here in front of the mailbox, even though it's just concrete. Just try to make it look cohesive. The tree rings. Put these stones back in place. It just walks back to the water hose. And this bed you've already seen. With the tree rings, what I do is I try to do like a little pocket around the stump, and then raised up with a nice edge around the outside. Did the same thing to this one. So pretty much, guys, that's what this guy has me do. He has me do these front 3 yards, and then, because I don't mow for this guy regularly, but then what he had me do last year was I mulched that water feature that was back there, and you can see there's quite a distance from here to there. I charged him more to install that because if I remember correctly, it took like 6 or 7 yards, and all of it had to be trucked back there by wheelbarrow. So I charge more when there's circumstances like that. Also, spoils to the victor. I'll take that stuff home, and I got a couple little small beds that I throw that in. I don't really I don't pay for my own mulch, I guess. But alright, guys, so I'm gonna take this mulch home, throw it in my bed, and then I've got to load up mowers to go do some mowing today. Battery's about dead. I'll see if I can get some more footage. I've got a charger in the truck. But also another thing that I do not include in my rates for my per yard install that doesn't include any bed prep. Like, I mean, I'll edge the beds like I did with that one, and like, I mean, I'll move some stones and a water hose and stuff like that, just simple little stuff. But anything other than that, I don't include that. If they want weeds pulled or weed sprayed, that's an additional charge. He actually got out there and sprayed his own weeds, which I kind of prefer that. That way it's done when I get there and everything like that. But yeah, that's got to be an extra charge if I'm doing all that. But that one's pretty simple. I actually didn't get there till like 9:15 because I had to stop at my house and do a couple things before I got going, and it's 11:03. So I mean, in under 2 hours I got that 3 yards done, so I can't really complain about my hourly rate being included in there. Plus I get the fees for my delivery, and with this one I'm getting an extra hour's charge because of all that fiasco of getting mulch the wrong color the first time. Never done that before. Probably never will again. You tend to not forget that.